Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Music Monday. I'm Sabrina Taylor. I am the creator and host of Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. So, very happy to have you guys here on Facebook. I want to say hello to everybody there. Also, want to say hello to everybody on YouTube. If you're coming in there, welcome to the show. It is a privilege and an honor to have you guys join us tonight. Another special guest, always special and always unique, but it really is unique tonight, everybody. I've never had a jazz harpist on. I have heard of my guest before. I've seen her perform, not actually seen her live, but I've seen her on YouTube and live performance video on Facebook. And we have finally gotten her here. Thanks to Desiree. And I want to say hello to you, Desiree. Thank you for connecting us. And so, everybody, I just want you to welcome to Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide, Mariea Antoinette.
Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
everyone.
What a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day to come and chat and talk with us. So great to have you here.
Yes, likewise.
Thank
Like you
you.
said, Music Mondays, right?
I know, right?
I like that. Top of the week.
It
Instead of
is.
Friday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday, here we are at the top of the week. So that's pretty cool.
I know, I know. I love Mondays because I get to sit and chat with amazing artists such as yourself. And just the storytelling part of it is what is so interesting and intriguing to me. And that's what I want to do. I want to get us started chatting about you, the woman of the hour. And I want to know about the pathway, Mariea, that led you to playing. Um, well, I'll say it this way. What, mm-mm, I want to talk about that, but I want to know what it was first that drew you into music. Can you remember that?
I do. And I'm so glad you phrased it like that because that is the story. My
Oh.
brother, when I was really young, my brother came home with a friend of his.
Hmm.
And he says, "Oh, we got this new music," and he says, "We want to play it." So he showed us the album cover, and it was Isaac Hayes' "Hot Buttered Soul."
I remember.
And they put it on, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was the most amazing music, and we had a piano in the house. So I went to the piano and was like tapping out some of the stuff as it was playing. I thought, oh my God, this is the most amazing music. Because at that time, it was like cosmic. They didn't call it that. Well, they probably called it psychedelic.
Right.
Psychedelic music. Today we'll call it cosmic.
Correct. Correct.
And I thought, right after that, I have to do something musically because it was just that powerful for me. And
Really.
it resonated with me. And so I started taking piano lessons.
And that is so amazing because that was the other question. See, I love when it's authentic. I knew that there was something else that you probably started out playing first and
Mm-hmm.
kind of transitioned into that. Talk about playing piano
Well,
and
it was
how you transitioned out, or how whatever that pathway was from piano to harp.
hmm
Hmm.
well, my parents, we grew up Kojic. And so every Saturday, we had to go to church and take piano lessons from one of the deacons by the name of Brother Brown.
Oh, Brother Brown.
And so there we were lined up and, getting our lessons. And I thought, it's okay. I like the piano. It's cool and all of that. But it wasn't until I went to all girl private school. And then 1 month out of the year, they had a music month.
Hmm.
And during that music month, they brought in the instruments from the orchestra, from the timpani to the violin, the viola, and just different instruments. And the harp came in, and the harpist demonstrated the music, and she played. I'll never forget Debussy's first arabesque, and the hair on my arm stood up, and I thought that was the most beautiful music. And secondly, just looking at the harp is just amazing. I had never even seen anything like that in my life. In our community, we don't see harps.
No.
And I thought, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to play, is that right there.
Really?
So I became her student, and she gave me private lessons. And that thus began my journey with the harp. And then the bishop of the church, when I started to learn more music, more songs, he had me come in doing communion and play like the Lord's Prayer or
I
Amazing
love
Grace.
it.
And
Yes.
it was a big deal because nobody really saw that. And
Exactly.
for the bishop, he had the foresight to see. He just said, keep going, and to present that to our community at a time, like I say, where there was never, we didn't see a harp. There was nobody. If you asked about somebody what a harp was,
They wouldn't
we don't
know.
know what is
Mm-mm.
that.
Mm-mm.
And besides, once they did the investigation, it was cost prohibitive, you know?
That's right.
So because it's very expensive. So,
Yep.
I had come home and told my parents, I said, I want to play the harp. And they said, we're not playing for no harp, and we're not paying for no harp lessons. Besides, black people don't even play the harp.
I was
so,
waiting for that one. I was waiting for that one.
so everybody always falls out about that because, they see me, they go, oh, you must be treated like a prima donna and all this sort of thing. Well, no, I had to fight for it. I had to work for it. And oh my God, that's expensive. So to make a long story short, my brother had a restaurant and he let me come and work for him after school. And I paid for my own rental. I had a little harp about as big as I was at that time, and had paid for my lessons, and everybody just sort of watched in the house, just sort of dumbfounded, like, what?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, I was doing, like I say, playing at the church and
That
doing
had to be a
commitments.
wow moment for everybody because, I mean, when you see someone sitting, it's such a dominating instrument anyway, right?
Yes,
And then you're waiting because, for those, some people had probably never heard what a harp sounds like,
right.
especially some of the younger generation. But then to have someone of color
Hmm.
sit at a harp who knows what they're doing, that had to be a wow
Yes.
moment. It
Yeah.
really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then playing, church song,
Yes.
gospel tune.
Yeah.
So, I became this sort of a regular thing in the church. And so that helped push me along because it was every first Sunday. What are you going to play? And so that was a good motivator, plus good exposure, in the community as to, wow, that's really amazing. So
Exactly.
that began my journey right there, all the
Really?
way up to 12th grade.
What was one of your favorite church songs to play
Um,
or
Everybody loved
requested?
Amazing Grace. They
How
loved
did I know
Amazing
that one?
Grace. It fits perfectly. I did a lot of glissandos and played some notes, and that's the one sound on the harp that sounds like a waterfall, but everybody
Yes.
loves it, and it's the most easiest thing to do.
Is it really?
So yeah, they loved it. Yes, Amazing Grace was a staple in the repertoire.
Wow. Did you feel any apprehensions at all being an African American on a harp?
Not at all. Not at all. Wasn't afraid at all. It wasn't until really I got into another realm, when you start taking classes at university, then you're in a whole nother group of people that don't look like you.
True. Now that is so true.
Yeah, and then that's where it sort of became a little sketchy there.
Yeah.
And didn't get a
But
lot of support, got a lot of pushback.
uh-huh.
Um, where you weren't really accepted, and what I mean about that. It's
Of
like, oh,
course. Of course.
and so much so that I thought, oh, I can't do this. This is really so much negativity. And then, but the spirit is on that shoulder, saying you're not going to turn back. You're going to
And
keep going.
I kind of could imagine. Um somewhere in your journey there had to be a little pushback because, of course, it isn't a normal vision
Right.
to see. But it's good to know that in church, I think it was more of a ooh, you
Hmm.
know,
Right, right,
and excitement, and of course, seeing an African American on a harp. But then, as you said, now it makes sense that outside of that environment, when you went to a different level,
right.
um, then mm, new levels, new devils, as they say. But
New challenges.
yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
absolutely. Yes.
that does make a lot of sense. And I'm so glad though that um your bishop had the foresight to see.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see what I'm doing now is what I saw a long time ago. But what is really truly interesting is that, the harp, which most of us don't know, but I think we kind of know now, that the history of the harp, the ancient harp, actually comes from Africa, from Sudan, from uh, ancient Egypt, Ethiopia. This is where you find the oldest harps. Now, they're not in the form that you see right here. They may be a lap harp, a
I've seen those.
a
Yeah, yeah.
kora, but
Mm-hmm.
but it's a harp, and it goes back over 5,000, 10,000 years. And then with the influx of the Europeans on the African continent, the harp migrated and went to Europe, particularly Ireland, where they, made the national instrument of their country. But the harp has an amazing history, and even today, you can go and you can hear harpists play amazing music, all across the continent.
That
Yes.
is, I'm
And
so.
you've probably seen it like in the artwork, let's say you see three girls in of the ancient Egypt pictures, and the sisters, one has, she's standing there with the bow instrument and she has long braids, and the other one's playing another instrument. I know you've had to see it. You just didn't really probably relate to that. Oh, that's the harp.
You're
But you've
right.
seen it. Yeah.
Now that you're talking about that, you are so right.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
And the history on that is amazing. I had no idea.
yes.
Just
Yeah,
going
the sisters played before the pharaohs.
now. Now let me say this though. In some of the film that we see today,
Hmm.
about Egypt and pharaohs and kings and what have you. Yes, you do see, but they're in their laps. It's not the
Right.
grand scale of what you have
Absolutely.
behind you.
That's
They
right.
were literally
Yes.
sitting in their
Absolutely.
laps.
They were either bowed down on their knees, and it
Yep,
was a bow-like instrument that sat in their laps, and
that's
they
it.
played it. And there was not as many strings, but that was the harp of that era, that time. Or it was a stand-up one, but it was huge, but the strings going this way, vertical, where they
Yep,
played it, stood and played it.
that's
Hmm.
true. Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
yes.
you are so right. Wow.
I've done some
I
some studies on it.
I know, right? I love the history. I love the history. I didn't know I'd be getting a short history lesson on
It's
tonight.
okay.
And it's beautiful. No, no, it's just absolutely wonderful. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take, of course, that first break of the night.
Okay.
Definitely got so many more questions that I want to ask and just share and talk and just take that path towards where we are today.
Yes.
Just kind of giddy to have you finally on here because I've been waiting for this all week. I have.
Okay.
I really have.
I enjoy the podcast a lot because I get a chance to share. A lot of times when you're performing live, you can say a few words here, but here you have a whole hour to talk about the instrument, the music, and connect with the audience. So it's a cool thing.
I know it is.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. Well, listen, everybody, we're going to come back with our special guest, Maria Antoinette. She's in San Diego, California, and we love that. We love that. She's out on the West Coast. So, listen, don't go too far. We've got more for you. And, of course, the coveted music premiere is coming shortly. So, don't go away. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear the stories of artists you love. and discover artists you'll learn to love on Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide via Facebook and YouTube. The expansion continues. You can locate us on 10 affiliate radio stations, rebroadcasting Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide segments around the globe. Come on, join the indie community. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Sabrina Taylor, creator and host of Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide. Our special guest is jazz harpist Mariea Antoinette, and we are so happy to have her on. It's a pleasure, it's a privilege. I heard you um, in the beginning of the break. We started talking about challenges and moving to the next level where taking classes was concerned, which kind of brings me full circle to where I wanted to go in this segment and talk about the fact you're classically trained.
Yes.
Look at you.
Yeah. Well, that is the journey for harp.
Yeah.
Most harpists, when they take up the instrument, that is what you're going to learn. You're going to have a classical foundation,
Yeah.
bar none.
Yeah.
And that is sort of the journey. That is not the journey; it is the journey.
It
You're going
is
to
the
learn
journey.
all. It is the journey. You're going to learn technique and the classical pieces. That is where you get your chops from. So that is part of it. And for me, that I did that journey for many, many years. And actually, I played for the symphony in Los Angeles, for the Southeast Symphony Orchestra at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, which is compared to like the Carnegie Hall of the West Coast. So I played there with the orchestra, and that was wonderful. But we're going to go back all the way to that Isaac Hayes song, because I thought the whole time, how can I take this instrument and make it funky? How do I make it jazzy? How do I make it how do I turn this into R&B music, which I love? Because I consider myself, not just a jazz harper, but I love R&B. And if you notice my music, a lot of my music is R&B music.
It is.
And so how can I make it transition from classical into an R&B segment? And I was very lucky to grow up in a neighborhood with some amazing musicians who were like the world class today. Nathan East on bass. They were like right around the corner.
Yeah.
We grew up, we went to the same school.
No way.
We ran the school together. So to go into a recording studio or go locally, when they were playing locally as a band growing up, I was already there. I was always there, just hanging out with the guys and just loving every minute of it. So I think my mentorship coming up was truly, truly amazing. And Carl Evans Jr., who was the musical director for Fatburger, who started this whole smooth jazz movement. They were my best friends. And so I said, Carl, I want to play smooth jazz. And so he goes, okay. He goes, we'll teach you. So they became my mentors and just had me in the studio watching as they produced other artists and when they went out on concerts.
Yeah.
And so gradually they, kind of, they go grandfathered you in a little bit to play this and play a little bit of that and to take risks. Because in classical music, you don't take risks. You play what is on that sheet.
That is true.
You don't venture off. You don't improvise. I think this is going right.
Sheet.
Yes. I think this might be kind of funky over here. And so having a producer like that and saying, he took me by the hand and said, you can do this. We're all waiting for you. So I attribute to all that to him, Nathan East and all of them who said, yes, go for it.
Really?
And of course, I was the only female during that time doing, things like that. So they gave me a lot of encouragement. And so I produced my first album where Carl did. And what do you want to say as an artist? That was another thing. You just don't play music. What do you want to tell your audience?
And you know what, Mariea, before you go forward, there was a question that I had actually personally, in that being classically trained, did you know immediately along that path that you didn't want to continue in classical music?
Mm-hmm.
Is really okay.
Absolutely, because I was doing classical music, but at home we had R&B.
True.
Coming through the radio, I'm like, how in the world? I'd like to play that on the harp.
Yeah.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah.
And so constantly I had this voice, you can do this, and everybody's like, no, you can't play music on a harp that people can dance to. That was the challenge. I go, you watch, I'm going to figure this out.
That's
And sure enough,
interesting.
they do at my shows, they do get up and dance and sing along.
And they should, because you're playing some amazing R&B music. You guys, I got a little taste of that behind the scenes. That's
Hmm,
one of
hmm.
the benefits of being the host. Is I get to get a little taste of that. And it's just so amazing. I guess, the reason I asked that is because you have delved so deep into classical music. And it's either, you love it or you hate it, you know.
Hmm.
And but all the while, you were conspiring to
Right.
go.
I was. I was like, I would do this. I wanted to have a groove to this. It's got to be a way.
I love it. Oh, that is so funny. That is
Yes.
so
Yeah,
funny.
this
But
is it's amazing. And I have not looked back. I mean, I love it. I
right.
have a strong appreciation for it. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But for me right now, I think that was my voice. And and that's what I loved. I'm like, as soon as I started doing different things, like, oh my God, I love it. So I was thinking of hearing stuff on the radio, like, oh man, we ought to do this and let me try that. And here we are, just
Right.
about 4 albums later,
Yeah.
and
What,
people
what
loved
what
it.
was a pathway that led to playing professional? Well, on the R&B side, because I mean, I correlate anything of the magnitude of what you've studied professional,
Hmm.
because classical is no joke. But
Right.
what was it that led you? What was a defining moment for you? I guess that's my question.
Right. When I started recording and the music that I was recording,
Hmm.
I thought, okay, well, how am I gonna kind of get this out there?
Sure.
Well, we had a African American restaurant in our neighborhood that had popped up, and so I went and approached them. They had Sunday brunch, and I
Hmm.
said I would love to come and play on Sundays, maybe one Sunday a month. And they were like, okay, that's different. Let's give it a try.
Hmm.
So at that time, I had enough songs in my repertoire to, play at least a couple hours, with some
Sure.
breaks and things like that, and maybe repeat some. And because the crowd shifted, and that's where I think my true really, when it came to the R&B music, that professional genre started to come in or experience come in, because now I had an audience, and that audience
Right.
was predominantly African American. And
Oh,
so
got
when I
it.
got to try out stuff on them,
Yep.
and you're like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I didn't know, I never heard the harp played like that before. And so, okay, well, I can show you better than I can tell you.
And you did that.
So, needless to say, I think I played at that restaurant at least a couple of years, and got a local following in my neighborhood, in my community. There's a harpist in town. Oh my God, she plays on Sunday. So then had people coming on Sundays to have
Just
brunch
to
and.
hear you.
Hmm.
Hmm. I
Yes.
can I can believe that. So being a harpist is it's unique. I guess you can call it unique.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
and because of that unique skill, you talked about, playing at Disney. What other opportunities have come for you because of your unique gift?
So many.
No, no, I know we'd be here all night, right?
Yes, so many. Oh my God. A lot of celebrity weddings, VIP receptions. I mean, playing at these amazing mansions. And I'm probably in my bio, you'll see that I played for the First Lady of the United States, Michelle
Michelle
Obama.
Obama.
I've
Yeah.
done some just incredible things, wealth summits where you walk in the room and everybody's a billionaire, and they say,
Whoa.
Maria, this is who you're playing for tonight. So I'm like, okay, BlackRock, Charles Schwab, and these are this is a B room tonight with exclamation points, and like I said, Yvette Nicole Brown, she got married, the actress on TV, and I've done a lot of celebrity stuff. I can't think of her name, but I did her daughter's wedding. The girl who played in Coming to America, the first princess. What is her name?
Yes.
And so her daughter got married. 2 years ago, I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, and they had this big wedding, and everybody's there. Everybody who you can think of, black royalties in the room.
including
And,
me.
they walk in and doing
And
my
there
thing.
you were doing your thing.
I played Niecy Nash's probably last 3 weddings.
No way.
I could tell you stories about the celebrities I've done work for. I mean, it's just amazing. So I have, that underground kind of vibe thing going in Los Angeles, or they'll fly me across to Minneapolis where I played before Jimmy Jam. And I mean, it has been epic, to say the least.
So
And it was funny because I did this thing. One of the oldest black newspapers in the United States had a 100-year gala, and they had me come out and perform. And afterwards, I got to meet Jimmy Jam, and they were like, "Oh my God, they were like impressed." And so then I'm in LA in Beverly Hills, and I'm playing, and then Jimmy Jam's wife says, "Isn't that Mariea Antoinette, the girl that played in Minneapolis?"
See, and they even know your name. That
Yeah,
is
so that's a cool thing. It's been that. Like I said, I could tell you stories that you would laugh. We would laugh all night about the things that have happened on the stages. Cedric the Entertainer. Uh, I did a thing with him in Beverly Hills again. 3,000 people in the audience, and I finished, and he got up to do his thing, and he goes, wait, before I even get started, is Marie Antoinette still in the house?" And I'm in the back of the room, and the producer of the show says, "He's calling your name. Go up there." And I go, "No," because I don't know what he's going to say. He goes, "Wait a minute. I've never heard anybody play with so much soul, so much power
on a harp." That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just that sort of thing. And that keeps me motivated to know I'm on the right path. And just so many amazing moments, really.
Have you traveled afar?
Africa.
Yeah. I know Africa. In those travels, is there a place that you went to that just Africa probably took you. What part of Africa were you in?
Well, I've been to Morocco and then Cameroons.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did a tour in the Cameroons for about 10 days, and I was with a band, all female band. I don't know if you ever heard of them, Jazz and Pink.
That's
And
unique.
yes, and so we went to Africa and did some things. But I was forever changed after that, because we had the opportunity to tour. We had the opportunity to go in to see the indigenous people and take a canoe ride down a river. That was spectacular, just amazing. And we had the shaman come and show us different medicine herbs and leaves. And it was scary, but it was profound.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what was the aura like? What,
the food was spectacular. We ate 3 meals a day and then gained 1 pound. And that's because it was fresh. Fresh. We found out fresh and organic is the key.
Yeah, and it is. You're right. You're absolutely
right.
Wow.
So, and that's where it's a song Africa came. We're kind of leading up to that. But
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So, is that really how you were inspired traveling to Africa? It is a beautiful country. I mean,
it is, and we haven't even explored the surface. So I really want to go back and do some things and go to South Africa. There's so many places that I want to do and visit.
You'll get there. I
Yes.
mean, you're super talented. I mean, just gifted, just
Thank you.
utterly gifted. So I'm sure that'll happen soon. We're going to take the last break, and when I come back, I want to start talking about your music. You finally got yourself to where, okay, now we can we can start recording the R&B enthusiastic part of my journey, or your journey. I'm sorry, just speaking for you. But yeah, I want to talk about the projects that you have out. We're going to lead up to the premiere. We're actually going to play the premiere all the way through on tonight. So you guys hang out. We've got Mariea Antoinette, and she's just an amazing creative.
Thank you. It's so sweet. Thank you.
There's so much more we have, so don't go too far. We'll be
back in
just a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear the stories of artists you love and discover artists you'll learn to love on Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide via Facebook and YouTube. The expansion continues. You can locate us on 10 affiliate radio stations, rebroadcasting Indie Artist Reveal Worldwide segments around the globe. Come on, join the indie community. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, our special guest tonight is Harpist Mariea Antoinette, and we are having such a wonderful conversation about, and as encapsulated as we can get, about her pathway towards where we are today. And I want to talk about the music part that is now recorded.
Mhm.
Being classically trained, you were itching to get that converted into R&B.
Yes.
And I love that. Who are some other influences other than Barry White and just hearing all of that luscious music? Who were some of your main intriguing influences along the way on the R&B side?
Well, we got Prince, we got Whitney, we got Earth, Wind, and Fire, we've got the list can go on and on. I love R&B music. It was so many influences because if it was a singer, let's say like Whitney or all the greats, Aretha Franklin, is
Yes.
praising and the power
Mm-hmm.
and how they stylize those songs to bring them forward that we're like, oh my God, and how can I take those elements and bring them to my instrument to, convey that same feeling and power.
Yeah.
And that's in the arrangement and of the song and how it's put together with the harp and the harp having a solo and then coming back and the R&B section where you got your bass drums and percussion and maybe sometimes I'll throw in some vocals on there, semi vocals, which is
Oh yeah.
cool.
Oh sure.
And but yeah, there's just been so many. And then we had two amazing jazz harpists who were what they call the gold standard, and that was Dorothy Ashby and Alice Coltrane,
Mm-hmm.
which that John Coltrane's wife Alice played the harp, and
Right.
then we had Dorothy Ashby out of Detroit who played really straight ahead bebop. I mean, incredible harp playing. And so those two, I would say, were influences as well in terms of the how we, you approach the harp and but
So what is do you how self-disciplined are you now that you, and I'm only saying this because I feel like you've just kind of gotten it all down pat. You know, I feel
no.
it's like you sit at that harp and you lean into it or let it allow it to. It's like you become one with that instrument. I watch how you sit with your instrument. It do you rehearse quite a bit?
Oh, yes, every day. Because I'm
Yeah.
always coming up with new ideas. I have a piano in the house. And so I'll, do some things on the piano and then I have an idea. And then, it's interesting too, with a lot of the selections, not a lot, but a few of the selections that I have that people absolutely love. Actually, my audience has given them to me. And just kind of the roundabout way. And I'll just give you one quick example. I was doing a
Sure.
wedding and it was a client very high end, the bride with no budget that has everything. And he says, Maria, I want you to play an R&B song when I come down the aisle, male, and let's look at some things. So I'm like, okay, we got Kim, we got Luther, we got,
Yep.
this and that and the other. So I said, let me look because everything cannot be played on the harp, but melodically, let's see what we have melodically. So anyway, to make a
Sure.
long story short, we came up with Luther Vandross's So Amazing. So I thought, oh, okay. So it worked. And so brought her down the aisle of the wedding with that. And when she got to the front, the entire audience started clapping and looked over at me. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to record that. You see,
You
they gave me
sure
that
did.
idea just like that. I knew. I mean, if the audience
Mhm.
reacts like that, clapping like, "Oh my God," I'm going to record that. So
Wow.
I recorded it, so you can check it out. It's on YouTube, and actually, I have a video
Yeah.
of me playing "So Amazing" by Luther. It's powerful. It's beautiful.
I'm going to, because now this interview is going to be, I'm syndicated now. So I
Okay.
have eight radio stations that are going to rebroadcast this
Okay.
live.
Great.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna edit in So Amazing.
You
Oh, it's
should.
gonna get it. It's gonna get in there, okay? And
You
as
clever
soon
like
as,
what?
yeah, we're gonna edit it in, and we're gonna play both. So Amazing. I'm sorry, you guys, that I didn't, because I had no idea we were gonna talk about that tonight.
Right.
And
We got to
so,
do Africa.
definitely when I do the edits for the rebroadcast, I'll tag you on it so you can hear
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, definitely the first one's going to be out in LA on the Urban Influencer Radio.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
it'll be next Tuesday. Yeah, it'll be next
So
Tuesday.
yeah, yeah. So my audience sometimes, in terms of R&B, because it's such a wealth, body of music, of R&B music that we have that you can choose from, and it's like, how do you choose which one?
Yes.
So it's like a lot of times my audience has chosen it for me. Like, oh, okay. And some of them
You'll
I
do
just like,
that one.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, another star. Okay, all right.
Oh
So,
God.
but
Have
and
you
I
ever
love the
played with
originals
him?
too.
Have you ever played with Stevie Wonder,
I
or
never have.
you're going to? I just
Okay.
feel like you are.
Oh,
I
that would
really,
be very, very exciting.
I feel like you're going to do that. I just
That
feel
would
it.
be
And
just
I
epic.
thought you already had. That's why I was being sincere, really.
Oh, okay.
I thought you had
Mhm.
already done that. Okay, so here we go. It's in the atmosphere.
It's in the atmosphere. We'll go with it. Hey, you got one life to live. Live it,
I
right?
know, I know. It's so true. It's so true. So you have how many projects now
I
out?
have three and getting ready to release my fourth project.
Look at
Fierce.
you. Yeah. So, Overture, which project
That
was
was
that?
on the second one. No, Overture was on All
The
My
20
Strings,
strings? Was it
which was actually my third project. I do
Oh,
believe. I think so. Yes. All My Strings.
yeah,
And
because
that would, Overture that was the first number one hit I had,
yeah,
for 12 straight weeks. It was
I
like
saw
unbelievable.
that. I saw. Look, I might
And
have to give
it's
him a
funny
taste of
because,
that too on the edits. I don't know. We'll make it work.
okay,
We'll
hit
make it
after
work.
hit after hit, Maria.
I know. I know.
And of
How
course,
did they?
Africa was my second number one on the Smooth Jazz Global charts. That uh, top 100 number one, Africa. And Africa is an anthem. And I'm really pushing it more because of all what's going on in Africa right now.
True.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, I said, you know what? I am going to push it even harder now because of what's happening on the continent.
Yeah.
Because we have a section in there, Africa, where the girls come in and sing, so it's just like perfect hit right now. It's like, we got to come back with that.
Well, since we are, that's a great segue because I really want to go ahead and do the premiere. Talk about all of the inspiration and the writers and producers. You co-wrote this song, am I correct?
Yes, right. With my producer, Alan
Alan
Phillips.
Phillips,
And we have
yeah.
been together since Carl had passed. That was Carl Evans Jr. passed. He was my first producer.
That's
And when
right.
he passed, he brought me to Alan Phillips because he knew. He said, "You take good care of her,"
Oh.
because he said that there's so many shysters kind of out here in the music
Mhm.
business,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he says, "Now I know that he's going to take good care of you." So we had this conversation, and Alan's been with me since, and he understands, and we work together really well. And we talk about what we want to do next, or no. And he's the one who challenges me, I think, the most, and said, "No, don't play it like this, play it like that." And I go, "Well, no, but you don't kind of do that on the harp. But that's why I want you to do that."
I love it.
Because you're
Oh my
breaking the
God.
tradition, you're breaking rules, you're breaking boundaries,
And
those
it works,
rhythms,
doesn't
and
it? And it works,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. And so me going
Wow.
to Africa and seeing all that I see, all that I experienced,
Yeah.
we had to do a song titled Africa with
How
all
long did it
that
take for
when,
you
because
guys?
when you hear it, you could see, like the safaris, you can see in your mind's eye what is kind of happening. You can see the giraffes roaming and just all how it unfolds into just the beauty of Africa. Yeah.
Right.
There's many layers to it.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And that's what I was asking. With all that it encompassed, I mean, you took in so much, right?
Hmm.
Um, how long did it take for you to do this project from beginning to end?
For Africa,
Yeah.
it didn't take that long, I don't think. Maybe 6 months, 3 to 6 months that we talked about it, we collaborated with it,
Yeah.
kind of pulled back a little bit because that happens, like,
That's what I mean.
yeah,
Exactly.
you pull back. Okay, I love the beginning. I love the intro. That's amazing. And let's bring in these other elements, and then let's bring in some technical ability because you'll hear, da-dee-dee-dee-dee, and like say, whoa, whoa, whoa. With the harpist, just the fingering is going up and down. And I love that. And then we calm it down and then bring it back down and then get funky with, take it up to the next level,
Yep.
and so I love all of that, all the surprises that people are not expecting, for
That's what
me
I
to
was
do.
going to ask. I'm so glad you're sharing that because I was going to ask what nuances would happen that because we wouldn't see it in the
Right,
background,
right, right.
because it's happening in the studio. And so I want people to take a look at the finished product. Talk about the video. What was the inspiration for the video that we're going to
Well,
see?
again, what you see in the video is kind of what I saw musically.
Mm.
How it opens up, and you see the animals and
Yeah.
the lion, and then you see a sister just grazing, but I mean, but walking. But the Maasai people, I definitely wanted them to be shown, the traditional sisters sitting there, right there on the plains and kind of fanning themselves as the music's going. You got the Victoria waterfalls and
Oh,
just all of that. I'm going to do a video. I just talked to my team yesterday.
wow.
We're going to actually do a video with me sitting and playing with African dancers, and
Oh,
it's going to be like crazy,
huge. That's
just huge.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll, go in and out with me playing, and then the dancers going in full regalia, and the drummers. So I've got a great team for that. So we're going to be recording that soon because it does need a video with me actually playing that.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
going to be on set in Africa when you do
No, it's going to
this?
be here. We got a beautiful
Okay.
place here in San Diego in Balboa Park where we're going to film that. It's a place called the World Beat Cultural Center, and it's the perfect setting.
Really?
Yes.
So is that this year that you're going
This
to do
year.
it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, until you get that video, and I definitely want you to stay connected, whether via yourself or Desiree, once that video is complete, so we can play snippets of it, run it through the group, and because you're family now.
Absolutely. Well, Desiree has a way of doing things like
Of
this.
course she does.
She,
Yeah,
she
that's
is
what I
so
said.
amazing, and I
She
so
is.
appreciate her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just can't, say enough good things about Desiree.
Oh,
She's epic, and she's made some
absolutely.
beautiful changes. My career, what they call trajectory.
Yep.
And so you need somebody like a Desiree in your life.
It matters who's on your team.
It does.
It
It
matters.
really, really does. And you could say that 100 times. And it is so true. It is so
Yes,
true.
absolutely. Well, I am so happy for you. And Desiree, thank you for the
Thank you,
connection.
Desiree.
I know, I know. Well, everybody, let's check out Africa, and it's with a K. That's
Yes, I kind of
different.
did. I want to do a twist on it.
You did that.
Yes.
They're going to enjoy this. So, everybody,
If it
Africa.
was left up to me, it would have been a Kiwulon, but that's a little, or Kemet, but that's a little, it did kind of ring like but Africa.
Africa sounds really good. I think it was a
Okay.
perfect title for this. So
Okay.
we're going to enjoy it and we'll be back in just a
Okay.
little bit. You are so beautiful.
Thank you. The many faces of Maria Antoinette.
Listen, you don't have to tell a sister about it because I got a ton of them too.
Right,
And you don't
right.
know what color the hair is going to be.
Right.
So,
We're chameleons. And that's the beauty of being, I would say that's the beauty of being a melanated sister because
I
we can do
know.
so many things. We don't realize just how, like, that's a gift in itself, you
All
know?
by itself. All by
Yes.
itself. Africa. It is so beautiful. That was released
Thank
in
you.
24.
Right at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Yes, right at
Yeah.
the end of last
So
year. Yes,
beautiful.
that came forward.
Did you send it to radio or
Yes, it went to radio. That went to Smooth Jazz Global, Cliff Goroff, all the smooth jazz
Oh yeah.
stations, and
Mhm.
that's how it became number one. You know, number one for 2 consecutive weeks. I got a call from one of the stations. They go, Maria, do you realize you're number one? I go, what? He goes, Africa's number one. I go, are you kidding me? Like, yes. I'm like, yes. I
Oh
love it.
my
I'm like, oh, that's
God.
my dream because you meditate on stuff, you
Of
see
course you
stuff,
do. Of
and it's
course
like I
you
see
do.
Africa number one, number one, number one.
Oh
So,
God.
but we're gonna
So
bring it back. We're
I
gonna
know
do some
you were
things like,
ecstatic. I know, exactly.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
That video is beautiful all by itself. Now I can't wait to see what you're what you're gonna do with it later on this year.
Oh yes, I'll be like like those ladies in full regalia
Sure,
and
sure.
probably have a booba on my head
Ooh,
and
yeah.
the African attire. It's gonna be beautiful.
I'm
Just
sure it
really,
is. I'm
yeah.
sure it is. So along this journey, now what can we expect from you, Maria?
Well, we're gonna release the new project. I'm gonna release one more song,
Okay.
and then we're gonna release the album,
Oh,
and
so
we're
there's
just gonna
one more
continue.
single coming before the album. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and it'll be something that we're just gonna do a little snippet of it today,
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
can taste it, just taste it a little bit.
So,
Um, but yes, more music, more performances. Uh,
I love me
stepping
some.
up, thinking outside the box.
Sure.
I love taking risks musically. Um, More marketing, more promotion.
Sure, sure.
We
Any
don't know what the universe has in store for me.
Yes.
I wake up and I go, I expect the best. I expect surprises to come to my life,
Great
because we
things.
all have infinite potential, right?
Yes, we
And
do.
so we have to affirm that every day. I am infinite potential. I am powerful. I am,
I
all
do
the,
that. I
yeah.
have to. We have to because there's so many other elements out there knocking against us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look in the mirror in the morning. You are bad.
You
You are
are.
great. You know, and stick to it and just walk in that power, because a lot of times we don't realize how powerful we are, because like I said, the world's going to give us so much negativity.
Of
I don't
course.
even, not that's a whole other thing, but I don't even watch television. I tell people, have you seen this? No, I don't even turn the television on in my house because it's so negative. I don't even want to bring download that into my system.
Yep, absolutely.
So anyway, unless somebody says, okay, this is what's happening, okay, all right. But
Right,
for the most
right.
part, I'm here practicing and doing what I do. Walking the beach,
Absolutely.
exercise, try to eat right, do all the right things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is it that you want your audiences to take away?
When I perform or when I'm out there, I want them to take away that, you know what, she really did something that hadn't been done before. She really
Mm.
stepped outside the
Mhm.
box
Mhm.
and in her imagination created what she had in her head, because that's really all this is in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bring it forward to expose people to a different type of harp playing than the traditional
Sure.
classical straight jazz, that it can be so creative and really exciting. I didn't know that you can dance to harp music. Uh,
That is true.
and it's a wealth of different things, and either come down and make it so pretty, like that baby could sleep to it, or
Oh, that
even,
part.
yes, and or if you're doing sound baths, harps really work well if you're doing sound baths with yoga, where people are being having a massage, or they're doing
Mhm.
spoken word.
Right.
Those type of environments are beautiful for the
Wow.
heart.
It really is. I
Mhm.
like going into the spa and hearing, as you
Yes.
said, a
Hmm.
harp because it is super
Takes you to a
soothing.
different place. The harp is very magical
It really
instrument.
is. It really is. And I loved that the last promo that I did of you in that soft flowing. Um, it was like a mixture of purples and blues and
Oh yes,
with a
yes.
harp. That was so amazing.
That was the cover for Another Star. So check that out too.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, my photographer, when we shot that,
Mhm.
literally I had to spin around to get that shot
I'm
with
sure you did.
with the
It was
with
so
the
flowing. Uh,
to try to get it, capture that moment where it's the dress is flowing just right.
and
Yeah.
you did that. You captured
Thank you.
that.
Thank
You
you.
did. Well, we want you guys to connect with Maria. Please do. Her website, her hub is right here with us, mariaantoinette.com. And I'm sure on the hub there are ways to spiral down into those pages, but we have a few of them up here. I'm sure. Are you on TikTok?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm on
I
TikTok.
I didn't want to overwhelm them, just kind of give them maybe three social pages, but definitely go to the hub,
Yes.
and I'm sure the hub will share the other pages where you guys can connect. We have, when I tell you, thoroughly enjoyed having you here.
Thank you. It was so much
Oh,
fun.
I know. So,
I
but you're
love the
gonna not
podcast.
leave us though without giving us a little taste of something, something
Yes,
new.
yes, 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 yes. Like I said, a little taste of something that is coming, and you will recognize it. And again, um, I guess I'll just set it up, right?
Okay.
So I got a call from a producer, promoter that said, Maria, we're having a Sunset Concert Series in Los Angeles. We would love for you to open up. I'm like, okay. So he says, we're doing a Frankie Beverly tribute. I'm like, okay. So he goes, but do you know any Frankie Beverly songs? I went, no. He goes, well, I'm going to send you 10 songs. We'll learn one of them. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm not going to tell you the title, but I'll play a little bit of what I've come out with. Now, you guys are getting a sneak peek, okay?
Just a sneak
Um,
peek. She's
I
just
won't play
giving
the
you.
whole thing, but we'll give you just a little bit. Okay.
Uh, we are so happy that she's going to allow those fingers to drape across those strings and give us a beautiful sound tonight.
See here.
And it's going to be amazing. Listen.
Okay. All right. All right. So that's a little taste.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear it all in the full blown
Yes, yes.
beauty
'Cause I got bass,
uh,
piano,
of a
percussion. We got trombone. We got sax. I have strings, And I
Ooh.
mean, strings is my signature.
It
And so we got
is.
the strings on this. That was just kind of like the shell of the harp kind of going,
Of
but you got the
course.
flavor. And I have to tell you this, I played this a few weeks ago in Sacramento, and the whole entire audience stood up and started singing with me. Oh, it was wonderful. They loved it, and at that time I used a backing track, so I
Of
had some
course.
of those elements going on.
Going on in there,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Something about Frankie Beverly and Mays that just sets people in the right. I don't care what kind of day you're having. When you turn him on,
hmm
it all gets so much better. So much
yes,
better.
yes. So
Well,
look for happy feelings
we will.
and dropping soon.
Shopping soon. Well, we truly appreciate you coming by and spending an hour. Told you it was gonna just go just like that.
It did.
And we appreciate you, Desiree, for connecting the dots
Yes.
and bringing us on. I'm going to edit this down, and next week it'll be worldwide, literally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
from
Very cool.
the
Very cool.
West Coast to the East Coast
Yes.
and in
Yes.
between.
Yeah. And I'll share it with all my platforms and my people, and it'll be epic.
Absolutely,
And thank you
absolutely.
for having me. I'm sending you massive, appreciation for having me on. And as an artist, we love this type of thing, because we want to share what we do. And so
Greatest.
I'm thankful, I'm grateful every day, for
Oh,
the small miracles that come to me.
yes,
And you are one
absolutely.
of them.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah.
so
And we
much.
are family now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I share with everybody that once they come on, really, it's just maneuvering. Because most times I am like booked all the time, but there's some days that are just meant for certain people, like Castella. I didn't even have anybody, and I've never not had anybody. But she came on last week, and so
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, just check with me, and if we have a spot, if there's something new, and even if it's not to come on, if it's just, hey, I've got a new video, I want to do a 45-second or a minute snippet. Can we drop
Okay.
it on your brand
Awesome.
page? We can do that. We can do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
Well, listen again. Thank you so very much for coming. Desiree, you're welcome. I appreciate
Hi,
you.
Desiree. Yes,
I know.
you're the bomb. You know that.
She knows. That is Desiree. We love her. We do
Yes,
appreciate
we
her.
do.
Yes, indeed. And remember, everybody, what you make happen for others, remember, God will make it happen for you.
For
Thank you
you.
so
Absolutely.
much. And we
Yeah.
will see you again
Okay.
soon. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.